Would you say that getting away from those ways that you share with us about just like the connection that your grandparents had with the earth, would you say that getting away from that is part of the reason why there's so many health problems, mental issues, familial issues, and things of that nature in the community?
Yeah, it's true because the way we were raised, we didn't have all this sickness because we used, had lots of plants, we had lots of vegetables, we had fish, and things of that nature. We had most of the stuff that grew out of the earth by Mother Nature and planting seeds. We didn't have the type of food they got today because everything was cooked from scratch. I see my grandmama take and just cook stuff up from scratch. It was better for us because all the natural ingredients of the whatever she cooked was still inside the food. And still today, by buying this processed food, it's not good for anyone. It's bad.
So I remember when you said one of your grandmothers that would collect the spider web and use that.
Oh yeah. Country where I was raised at, they would take and clean that foot with coal oil and take spider webs and put spider webs on that, and she would take the dust out of the chimney and put that dust out of the chimney where the wood or the coal burned and pack that foot and wrap it. In 2 or 3 days, that foot would close up, and then she would wash that foot and clean it up good, and it'll start hitting on the inside and then on the outside. And when it scalp up, she knew then that she got all the pores out because the way she mixed that stuff up was kept her from getting what we call today tetanus shots. We didn't have no tetanus shots. She knew how to remedy blood clots and all that stuff the way we were raised up.
So she used chimney dust, spider webs.
The oil you burn in your lamp.
So what you put in the oil lamp?
Yeah.
That oil.
Yeah.
And then like herbs.
Yes, you mix these herbs.
So you don't remember what the herbs were?
All I know she used a lot of watercress and everything she did.
Watercress.
Seaweed, she used seaweed in the process because the seaweed had a lot of vitamins that made oxygen anyway. And watercress was like, eating tangerines or something like that.
Okay.
She mixed all this together and fed us that. We had lots of fruit. We had lots of fish.
So, but when she put it on the wound,
it
was just the watercress, the chimney dust, the oil that you said you put in the oil lamp, and it was what else now?
Ginseng oil.
Mm-hmm.
I remember using that.
You said ginseng oil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ginseng oil. And she would mix us with these plants, root plants that she would go out in the yard and get. I can't remember what they were, but I know she would pull them up out of the ground and she would boil and let it cool and take that juice and make a remedy out of the juice.
What were the foods that y'all ate growing up? What were the natural foods that y'all ate or ways that y'all got the food as well?
Well, we had a lot of fish. We had a lot of vegetables from the garden, fresh vegetables from the garden. Then we got introduced to the live animal meat, which I know we shouldn't have ate, but we had daily little pork because I remember Grandma would take a slab of pork and cook up turnip greens because of the flavor of the oil inside the meat. But when she found out that it wasn't healthy for us, so she started eating. We had deer, we had goat, drunk lots of goat milk, goat cheese.
Y'all had goat milk and goat cheese?
Yeah.
Did y'all consume that more than cow milk and cow cheese?
Yeah, because it was better for us.
Because the goat milk was better for you?
Yeah. And the cheese had a better taste than the cheese from a cow, the milk from a cow.
What did y'all do if y'all wanted something sweet? Or did y'all not have sugar cravings?
Well, we had sugar cravings. Grandma would make big old homemade sugar cookies, but she had a very strict rule about that. If we did not eat our meal, we couldn't have no sugar cookie. So that was part of the process of being obedient. So if we didn't eat our food, we couldn't have no cookies. She would make them from scratch all the time. She'd make that. She'd make all kind of cupcakes. She'd make different types of cake, but she did it all by hand without a mixer. That's the way I used to sit in my high chair and watch my grandmama cook all these different types of dishes. And I never seen none of the modern stuff like they got today because she used her hand to mix up stuff instead of using a mixer. And she made homemade biscuits. She made homemade donuts, cakes, cookies, but she made everything from scratch. And most of the time, she would use the dry milk that they used to have instead of the cow milk.
Mm-hmm.
Because she rather have that in there because she said it was healthier for us because the ingredients in cow milk was real rich, but she used the milk to make doggone buttermilk.
She used the cow milk to make it or the goat milk to make the buttermilk?
Well, she used the cow milk to make the buttermilk. She used the goat milk for us to drink and eat in our food. And we drank goat milk at time. And we also processed, they call it lamb chop. We had sheep, lamb chops, goat meat, different type of feathers, birds, quail, red quail, stuff of that nature. But
y'all had quail?
yeah.
So y'all ate quail, y'all ate pork, y'all ate goat,
Mm-hmm.
y'all ate fish.
Yeah, deer meat.
How did y'all get the deer meat?
Well, back in the day, all my ancestors was hunters anyway, because they lived off the land anyway. From my native Indian side of the family, they would hunt anyway. So they would kill a deer, hang it upside down, bleed it out, then they would skin that deer, then they would cut it down and process the meat. Same like in the winter time, everybody got together during hog killing season and they all worked in this big building. It didn't matter how much meat you brought to the table, everybody left out of it homemade sausages, homemade pork choke chops. We had bacon. They processed link sausage. They made pork sausage. They put them on a bag. Then we had smoked meat, deer smoked meat. Because we didn't smoke no pork. Mostly was venison meat and goat meat that we would smoke. They would hang it in the smokehouse and let it dry. And salt it down because they didn't have refrigerators like they did today. So the salt would help the worms go in and eat the poison out of the meat. I remember that as a little boy.
So the salt did what now? The salt that when y'all salted the meat,
Yeah.
what did that do to the meat?
It preserved the meat.
Okay.
Because you didn't have no refrigerator. See, when you put that salt it down, you hang it in the smokehouse. And the worms will come and eat all the poison out of the meat.
Oh.
Yeah. And then once the worms did their process, then they would clean the meat. And it was safe for us to eat.
Wow, so you hung the meat up in the smokehouse after salting it.
Yeah.
And then the worms would come eat the poison out of the meat.
Yeah.
And so then y'all how long did y'all leave it in the smokehouse?
A lot of the ham stayed in there. I don't know, some of the ham was over a year old, but what she did was, they kill a fresh animal, we want fresh meat, she would process that meat and soak it in seawater and sea salt water, and let the poison come out. And then she would take it and do that process, and she got all the blood out of the meat. Then she'll let it set in the spring until it cure itself. Then she'll bring it out and bake it.
It was different times for different type of meats. They took different amount of times to cure.
Yeah.
So how long was it for the venison?
Well, you can eat the venison right off if you get all the blood out of it. Because venison is a tender meat off the deer. So you could process that by bleeding it out and washing it and getting all the doggone blood out of the meat and put it, she used white vinegar, I remember that. And she would put this meat in there with, I believe it was some type of pepper. I know it wasn't hot peppers, it had to be something like a bell pepper. And she would let that set that soak overnight, and she'd take it out and then she would bake it.
Oh, wow.
And she made her own deer sausage and everything.
Oh, wow.